Hey guys, welcome to day 29 of reading the Bible chronologically in a year. So we have just been introduced to a new character, Eliu, and obviously he's a young man. He's full of zeal for the Lord, and from his argument that he made to Job, it just sounds like a son who is defending the honor and character of their father. At least that's kind of what I get. But anyways, let's jump into today's reading. This is day 29, and here's a quick recap of the commentary that we're going to be listening to, or the stories we're going to listen to. Elihu addresses Job's motives. He suggests that Job pursues righteousness in an attempt to avoid pain. Neither the righteous nor the wicked of people adds to or diminishes God's character, but both do impact other people. Elihu contends that God introduces suffering into Job's life to get his attention, to destroy false hopes, and to expose faulty theology. Elihu directs Job's attention to God's power over his creation, including his oversight of wealth. God is not subject to Job. Job is subject to God. Elihu emphasizes the distinction between God and Job. However, Elihu was not privy to the conversation in heaven where God spoke about Job, declaring that no one on earth is as righteous as Job. Like Job's other friends, Elihu needs God's revelation. While what he says about God is good, it is still incomplete. So let's get into it. Elihu reminds Job of God's justice. Job 35, 1 through 36. Then Elihu said, "Do you think it is right for you to claim, 'I am righteous before God'? For you also ask, 'What's in it for me? What's the use of living a righteous life?' I will answer you, and all your friends too. Look up into the sky and see the clouds high above you. If you sin, how does that affect God? Even if you sin again and again, what effect will it have on him? If you are good, is this some great gift to him? What could you possibly give him? Nor your sin affects no, your sin affects only people like yourself, and your good deeds also affect only humans. People cry out when they are oppressed. They groan beneath the power of the Almighty. Yet they don't ask, 'Where is God, my Creator? The one who gives songs in the night? Where is the one who makes us smarter than the animals and wiser than the birds of the sky?' And when they cry out, God doesn't answer because of their pride. But it is wrong to say God doesn't listen, to say the Almighty isn't concerned. You say you can't see him, but he will bring justice to you. But he will bring justice if you will only wait. You say he doesn't respond to sinners with anger and is no greatly concerned about the wicked. But you are talking nonsense, Job. You have spoken like a fool." Elihu continues speaking. "Let me go on, and I will show you the truth. For I have not finished defending God. I will present profound arguments for the righteousness of my Creator. I am telling you nothing but the truth, for I am a man of great knowledge. God is mighty, but he does not despise anyone. He is mighty in both power and understanding. He does not let wicked live, but gives justice to the afflicted. He never takes his eye off the innocent, but he sets them on thrones with kings and exalts them forever. If they are bound in chains and caught up in the web of trouble, he shows them the reason. He shows them their sins of pride. He gets their attention and commands that they turn from evil. If they listen and obey God, they will be blessed with prosperity throughout their lives. All their years will be pleasant. But if they refuse to listen to him, they will cross over the river of death, dying from lack of understanding. For the godless are full of resentment. Even when he punishes them, they refuse to cry out to him for help. They die when they are young. after wasting their lives in immoral living, but by means of their suffering, he rescues those who suffer. For he gets their attention through adversity. God is leading you away from danger, Job, to a place free of distress. He is setting your table with the best foods, but you are obsessed with whether the godless will be judged. Don't worry. Judgment and justice will be upheld, but watch out, or you may be seduced by wealth. Don't let yourself be bribed into sin. Could all your wealth or all your mighty efforts keep you from distress? Do not long for the cover of night, for that is when people will be destroyed. Be on guard, turn back from evil. For God sent his suffering to keep you from a life of evil. Elihu reminds of God's power. Job 36:22 through 37. Look, God is all powerful. Who is a teacher like him? No one can tell him what to do or say to him, "You have done wrong." Instead, glorify his mighty works, singing songs and praise. Everyone has seen these things, though only from a distance. Look, God is greater than we can understand. His years cannot be counted. He draws up the water vapor and then distills it into rain. The rain pours down from the clouds, and everyone benefits. Who can understand the spreading of the clouds and the thunder that rolls from heaven? See how he spreads the lightning around him, and how it lights up the depths of the sea. By these mighty acts, he nourishes the people, giving them food in abundance. He fills his hands with lightning bolts and hurls each at its targets. The thunder announces his presence. The storm announces indignant anger. My heart pounds as I think of this. It trembles with me. Listen carefully to the thunder of God's voice. As it rolls from his mouth, it rolls across the heavens, and his lightning flashes in every direction. Then comes the roaring of the thunder, the tremendous voice of his majesty. He does not restrain it when he speaks. God's voice is glorious in the thunder. He can't even imagine the greatness of his power. He directs the snow to fall on the earth and tells the rain to pour down. Then everyone stops working so they can watch his power. The wild animals take over, and they stay inside their dens. The stormy winds come from its chambers, and they drive winds bringing the cold. God's breath sends the ice, freezing the wide expanse of water. He loads the clouds with moisture, and they flash with his lightning. The clouds churn about his direction. They do whatever he commands. Throughout the earth, he makes these things happen, either to punish people or to show his unfailing love. Pay attention to this, Job. Stop and consider the wonderful miracles of God. Do you know how God controls the storm and causes the lightning to flash from the clouds? Do you understand how he moves the clouds with wonderful perfection and skill? When you are sweltering in your clothes and the south wind dies down and everything is still, he makes the skies reflect the heat like a bronze mirror. Can you do that? So teach the rest of us what to say to God. We are too ignorant to make our own arguments. Should God be notified that I want to speak? Can people even speak when they are confused? We cannot look at the sun, for it shines bright in the sky. When the wind clears away from the clouds, so also golden splendor comes from the mountain of God. He is clothed in dazzling splendor. He cannot imagine the power of the Almighty. We cannot imagine the power of the Almighty. But even though he is just and righteous, he does not destroy us. No wonder people everywhere fear him. All who are wise show him reverence. Man, just listening to Elihu's defense of God, and it's a son defending his father's character, and it moves me and it touches me, because this is the Old Testament. This is before Christ, but here is somebody who is not just a servant of God, but who has taken the Lord's name and become a representative of him. And he is deeply wounded because a foolish man is attacking his father's character, and he must stand up and defend him. And it makes me wonder, am I doing that? Am I doing that well? And there's some thoughts that come about it, as far as like, who can understand God? How can we comprehend him? Anyways, this is really, really neat. Elihu is just a fascinating character. I would encourage anybody out there that's listening to this to just do a deep dive into him, into his words and what he says. And even though he wasn't privy to the conversation that God had with Satan, he speaks with such passion and just such power in defense of God, in defense of God's character. And a couple things that really stand out to me is just understanding, like, who are we to judge God? Who are we to judge his actions or question him? And I think it's okay to seek after understanding, but when I'm talking about questioning him, like, did he do that right? And I think we really got to put ourselves in perspective. I had this thought the other day, as far as being Christ-centered in my worldview, to where in the center of the universe literally sits the kingdom of heaven. And our galaxy is part of the Milky Way or whatever it is, but we are orbiting around Christ. And sometimes we like to put ourselves in the center of things, or the world in the center of things, or whatever it is in the center of things. And we think that, oh no, God orbits around us. But no, we orbit around him. We are made for his enjoyment. We are made for his pleasure. He was not created for our enjoyment, for our pleasure. So anyways, with that being said, that's day 29. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. And with that being said, I will see y'all tomorrow.